everyone and welcome. In this video I'm going to try a stable diffusion tool by Simulate. I was playing around with this tool for a while now and I decided to record a video so we can go through it together. To be able to have access to this tool, you need to download it from Simulate Patreon channel. I put the link in description. Please also consider that you need to do some preparation in your computer before you use this tool, and it's also just available for Windows. So let's drop the file here. In the parameter, if you go to install, here there is a view installation guide. You can press on pause and you get all the information you need to work with this tool. So here there are some requirements. You need to have Windows 10 or 11 and NVIDIA graphic card that supports CUDA. You also need Python. You need CUDA duplicate and you need Git. After you install all of these, probably you need to close your Touchdesigner and open it again. And here there are like installation steps which we go through it together. First thing, we need to download Stream Diffusion. I press this button, so you need to download the Stream Diffusion like somewhere. I made a new folder here. And now it's downloaded. And the second install is to create a virtual environment. And now here it starts to download. This part takes more time than the previous one. I used this tool a few months ago and everything worked out perfectly, but for making this video I ran into some problems which I now tell you how to fix them. I think if you are just installing this tool right now, it's possible that you also get this problem. So now we wait for this to finish. And now it's done. One thing that I noticed is that after this step, you need to save your file. If you don't save your file, this like installation doesn't work correctly. As you see, we don't see the tick next to it. So I save it and I open it again. Now we see it shows that it's installed. And the third option is to install Tensor. But as you see, when we try to install it, we get some error and it doesn't work. And here when we go to start streaming, we see it's not connecting, it's not streaming. So I noticed that here in Stream Diffusion folder, if you go to this folder Verve, where everything is installed there, there is a folder called Hugging Face Hub. Now that is October, when I tried this, I realized that the Hugging Face version is 26, But the previous stream diffusion that I downloaded a few months ago was, I think, 24/7. Anyways, you need to download the previous version probably to be able to use this tool, or maybe, I don't know, maybe in future there is a newest version of this tool. But since I already downloaded a stream diffusion a few months ago, I'm going to that folder, and here in Vim folder we go to lib and we go to side packages, and here we see that the version that it was working for me was 24.7. So I copy these two folder and I paste them in this new stream diffusion that I created for this video. And now let's try. Now it's working. So now here you see my FPS is very low, but it's working now. And now here I want to install Tensor, so I go to acceleration, I put it on Tensor, and it helps us to get like better FPS. Now here we install it. This is also takes a bit of time, not that long, but now we turn on the Hugging Face cache and I save it again and I restart. So from here we continue working with the tool. I hope you already made it. So here I already have put some prompts, and I also add some seeds. We can go through it together. So here I just remove the seeds. In seed blocks, you can add as many blocks as you like, but I was doing it with 4 blocks. Now I'm just undoing to get them back. And you have 1 seed block and the weight, so you can decide how much each seed affects. And here in CFG type, I put it on self, and my model is ST Turbo because I think Tensor just work with ST Turbo. You can change this one also from Tensor to Xformer, or you put it on none. And here you can change the resolution. You can even have more resolution, but it will be very slow based on my experience, because I'm using a 4070 RTX graphic card and it's pretty slow. So let's try to connect. Now you see my FPS is on 16, which is, I should say, it's good. So here in 2, and here you will see the ST mode. You can put it on image to image or text to image. In this video we are trying image to image, and here the limit FPS is what you have here in your Touchdesigner. So here when I change the FPS, the limit FPS is also changes me.time.rate. Here you can change the total weight of your prompt. So I bring a noise as my input. And you can play around with the noise. So here we have this prompt. And we have the weights under the prompt, which you can also change that from 0 to 1. 0 is like no effect and 1 is more. And here in the steps, the lower the number of a step is, the less our image affects. And the more the step is, the closer to our input. So if you put the steps on 1, we get almost nothing from the image that we are receiving. It's just the prompts that we are writing. Now here I want to make a separate space to see the result. I add a null after the tool. I want to compare our inputs with output here, so it's easier to see the difference. Now here, the steps, you see how it changed the result. So you can also animate each one of these parameters. And here we play around with the seeds. I have 3 blocks of seeds, and you can change the weights until you get the result that you want. You can also animate all these parameters. For example, if you have a live show and you want to do real-time sound reactive something, then you can animate these parameters with the sound. And also, if we change the noise input, we can get real-time effect. But if I want my image to have animation, then I need to create an animation for my noise. So I go to transform, translate Z, and I write avstime.seconds. Now you see we have a very fast movement, but I want to make it slower, so I multiply it to 0.1. Now I change the step. I go to my noise. You see, whatever we change, it's kind of drastically affects the output. With period, you can also create kind of a zoom in and zoom back image. And you can also change the seed. So I put the delta on 1.5 and the guidance scale is on 1. So let's play around with them to see what happens. And here in prompt blocks, you can also add as many blocks as you want. So I have 2 prompts block. I write another prompt here like cloudy sky, tall buildings, hyper realistic and realistic lighting. Now we can switch between these 2 prompts. And here I change the noise again. Now I want to switch between these 2 prompts. I bring LFO. I gave reference to weight. I put it on Gaussian. I bring a math and I use this math for the second prompt. I go to range in math and I point to range from 1 to 0. Now I want to make this slower. I lower down the frequency. But now if you want them to just switch and don't have this blend, in math I go to integer and I put it on round. Now you see it just goes from 0 to 1. I add another mask before this and I put this also on round and I use this instead of LFO. Now you see it switch between this and this. So let's bring back the scale. So let's change the integer of masses to off, and now we kind of have this blend between the 2 images. And here I also change the frequency and I make it lower, so we say more on each image. Now instead of this noise, you can bring a sound reactive visual and connect it to this tool. So here I already brought this patch. So I have a audio file in, and here I add a audio analyze. You can get it from the palette here. and I add a filter to make the movement more smooth. And here the visual that I'm using is actually from a video I made. It's on my YouTube. It's Generative Art 3, I think. So I create this visual also from noise, and I already put it in a base in a container, and I made also some custom parameters for it. So now I connect this to the stream diffusion. So I want to just show you how you can make also sound reactive. Now I play around with the parameters here. So let's turn on the display to also see the both images at the same time. You can add more prompts. Now let's hear the sound. The music that I'm using is from Vahid Qaderi's new album. It's about engine that we had a live performance also recently, and we used this tool. I also put a link to his album if you're interested to listen. It's a very nice album. One more thing that we can do to improve our image quality is to bring an NVIDIA upscaler from top. Now you see, if I turn off this, you see the sharpness of the image is lower, but when I turn it on, we have kind of a better quality. It might affect your FPS. If your FPS fell too much, then it's better to stop the stream diffusion and start it again. But be careful with this, it might crash, your software might crash. But also be careful with upscaler, because if you put it in a very high scale and your graphic card is not that powerful, it might crash. So with 2, for me, it's working well. I put it on 3. I put it on 4. At some point, maybe the difference is not that much, but this is also a good thing to consider using. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video and it was helpful for you. Please subscribe to my channel for upcoming videos.